Well, good morning, our beloveds. Our another is down for the count today. Body aches, mental disorganization, struggling with just functioning at the most basic core level. But this is her reality and one that she has made peace with for the most part. And so this is the perfect space to continue our lesson on grace, gratitude, and forgiveness. So grace is also where your acceptance of where you find yourself allows you simply to flow. You can resist where you are at. You can argue about how unfair it is where you're at. You can say, I don't like where I am at. But does any of that actually serve you now? Anger is a wonderful, wonderful emotion to catalyze you into motion. But bitterness is a different flavor, and it poisons the waters, the well from which you drink. So if you get angry about something, but it spurs on your action to catalyze change for the better, well, that's a good thing, don't you think? Because you're not just sitting in your muck, wallowing in self-pity. But if you get into bitterness and get stuck in the simple emotion of, why do I find myself here? Or why do we find ourselves here? Then you are in quicksand in certain ways where you are unable to remove yourself from the situation. So our recommended solution is simple. Acceptance of where you find yourself, meaning this is where I am meant to be in this exact moment, feeling exactly what I am feeling and how miserable it feels to be here. But then recognizing that you do have the ability to change your lot in life by speaking up, not against that which you dislike, but for that which you desire. I desire food. I desire heat or cooling. I desire a roof over my head. I desire the safety and security comforts that should be offered to any human being. But I am not going to say I hate the situation or the circumstance or the system within which I reside, which keeps me stuck here. One is bitterness and the other is solution-oriented, even though I find myself in exactly the same circumstance. You get to choose how and when you pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And if you can't do it some days, then you can't do it some days. And if you feel bitter and angry some days about your lot in life, that is okay. Let those emotions waft over you. But don't attach to them. Don't feed them. Don't let them stay longer than they should. Encourage them to move on. Say thank you for sharing your thoughts with me. And then don't attach. Don't do anything, just watch it float by, those thought patterns. You all have now begun to realize how it is your thoughts and your belief systems which create the greatest impetus for change or the lack thereof. You cannot control your circumstances, and you never have been able to, though you did delude yourself that with certain action and activity and money and friendships and so forth that you could avoid paying the piper, but you can't. It's just life. If you can avoid it, it's because life was meant to be avoided in that sense. But now you're beginning to realize that it is your thoughts that are your greatest captors, your belief system, that you can't solve this problem, that you can't get out of the circumstance, that you are somehow trapped beyond what you're capable of dealing with. But that again is resistance. Try to find acceptance, just simple acceptance of, this is where I find myself today, and I'm not going to fight any longer. I'm just going to sit in acknowledgement of the reality of my life so I can better assess where I find myself and then hopefully conclude how I can move out of this space. It is the most difficult of all the journeys because you are being asked to see what you can't see, to acknowledge what you can't acknowledge, to recognize what you don't want to recognize, and to be something other than a victim of your circumstances, to be told that life plays out as it is meant to, and that you are here as an actor in the play or the story called your life, and that you are creating this through one way or another. It's very difficult because you can no longer blame someone. It's much easier to blame someone or something for your lot in life, rather than acknowledging that the choices that you have made and that the choices that everybody else has made has landed you exactly where you find yourself in this moment and the next and the next. Beauty and bling are not what this life is about. Bliss and ease is what you are seeking, but you must find it, believe it or not, through the mundane tasks of life. Making your bed, showering, brushing your teeth, walking your pets, cleaning the kitchen. Those are the things that arise almost every day for most of you. And yet you still are seeking those highs, those fancy highs to make you feel alive. But what if the mundane is where the glory of life finds itself, presents itself, expresses itself? If you could find peace with the here and the now, you would be less compelled to self-medicate with all of the different ways that you create those endorphin highs, an oxytocin surge. But you need to maybe just recognize that it is the mundane that offers you the true essence, the true experience of the fullness of life, because that is, after all, what most of you came here to experience, the mundane. Our another's body is getting tired just from channeling, so we shall call it a day today. But today we ask you to find grace and beauty and acceptance and love through acknowledging that you are here for a purpose, And that is just to be alive and to observe your life playing out exactly as it is. Acknowledge that life is beautiful in its imperfections, and stop seeking those highs from those otherworldly, costly, dangerous, or otherwise non-supportive activities. Avoidance of reality and seeking those endorphin highs will never bring you to contentment. It will simply force you to seek newer and higher highs as you try to run from your past and resist what is actually presenting itself in your life. And that is honestly simplicity. Simplicity is what your soul seeks more than anything else. So we invite you in to just honor where you find yourselves today and accept that this is where you are meant to be and where you will find the solutions for what you seek the most. And it is hidden deep within your own soul, within your own spirit, within your own essence. That is where you will find your own nirvana. And so it is. Namaste.